Welcome everyone to season 2024 of Makeup Declutters. So today is going to be my first makeup collection declutter of the year. Today we are going to be doing bronzers, blushes, highlights, and then any like face palettes or duos, things like that. So welcome to a new declutter series. A lot of us post these at the end of the year where we go through our entire makeup collection and decide what we want to keep and what we want to declutter. So I will be going to an overhead view, showing you my full collection and deciding what I'm going to keep or not. I will say once again, I am trying to go into 2025 with a more minimalist collection, so I expect these to be some pretty cutthroat declutters, so I hope that you enjoy watching them. One thing that I want to say before all of my declutters as well is that I'm planning to do 7 parts for my declutter series. So you'll be getting 7 individual declutters from me. And then at the end of those, I'm actually gonna combine all of my declutters together into one long video. I wanna give a shout out to my friend Linda or Glitter Fallout. She said that she did this last year, and while people still enjoyed watching the individual declutter videos, a lot of people also really liked seeing that one long full makeup collection video all in one. And so I thought that was a really fun idea, and I decided to do it this year as well. So you'll actually be getting 8 declutter videos from me for the end of the year. So again, 7 of those are going to be individuals, like today with the bronzer, the blushes, the highlights, and the face palettes. And then at the end, I will combine all of them together. So just wanted to say that before I start putting out the declutters. I'm gonna mention that at the beginning of each of them as well. But wanted to say that I hope that you're excited for the declutter series. Let's jump into part 1. Here's what we have working with. This is a very large pile. Bronzers, blushes, highlights, face palettes, face duos, all the things. One thing I want to say, if you've been with my channel for a little bit, you might be looking at some of these and say, Samantha, I think you decluttered some of these in your last year declutter. You possibly are right. So one thing, I had a friend help me do some organizing in my new apartment because I moved last year, and I think there potentially was a box of makeup that I had decluttered, ended up getting put back into my makeup collection and then like back into like my storage. So when I was going through my collection and pulling products, like I was looking at some and I thought, did I declutter you or not? And then I wasn't exactly sure. And yes, could I have gone back and rewatched my declutters? Sure. But then I also thought, people love declutters. So some of these things might be decluttered twice. Maybe something I decluttered last year and I don't remember, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna keep that in my collection. You know, we'll just have to see. But I figured it would help give me a good fresh start on my collection with my bronzers, my blushes, my highlights, my palettes, duos. We're just gonna go through all of it. I guess I should, okay. I'm remembering that declutters gets very overwhelming of how do I do this? Do I do it? I think I'm gonna divide them first into like bronzers and then blushes, and then we'll tackle it that way. Yeah? Okay, so you can see a semblance of some piles here. So these few are like face duos, bronzers, this big pile is blushes, and then we have some highlighters. Also, my Becca Capri Coast was in here, and this is completely panned. So I think this was just chilling in my bronzer collection, but you can see like I've literally used it all the way up. So we're just gonna put that one to the side. We are going to start the declutter with highlights because I don't wear a ton of highlighter. So usually I keep a pretty small collection. Now I am pretty confident last year I decluttered the Dior. I just really feel in my elbows that I did not keep this one. It is a pretty highlight, but it's not one that like stood out to me a ton. And again, as someone who very, very rarely wears highlighter, I feel like I decluttered this one, and I'm gonna say that I'm good with that decision, right? Because there's some of these that I have a feeling I decluttered, but then it's like, do I want to keep them in my collection or not? And then also, like, why do I have the feeling that I decluttered the Mary Luminizer? I feel like in last year's declutter, I was like, it's time to move on from this one. This was my first ever highlighter, and so beautiful. I know a lot of you have said it's your first highlighter, but I feel like last year it was like, okay, it's time to move on from the Mary Lou. I'm feeling very excited about this particular declutter series because I've recently started using a space as like a filming studio and an office. It's my best friend's house, spoiler alert. But I have brought all of my makeup over here to be able to do these declutters, and the only thing that's going back to my apartment is what I am keeping. And I just feel like that's going to help set me up on a good track, because like I said, everything that I decluttered I have in boxes, because when people come over, I'm like, oh, grab anything you want, you know, here's this box, like go through it, what do you need? Or if someone tells me they need a blush, I'm like, oh, I got one for you. You know, I just do things like that with my makeup. But then what that can do sometimes is get a little confusing. Do I still have this product? Do I not? And then when I had help organizing, when I wasn't there in the beginning, it's like, oh, here's a box of makeup, like yes, let me organize it, you know? So this way I feel really good now that I have a separate space between my living space and my workspace. I feel like really good that this is going to help me in my organized girl era, which I've been trying to get into since circa 2022. But this is the year. This is the year. Okay, so moving on. So I recently got this highlight from Sigma Beauty. This is a part of their Little Mermaid collection, and it is just the cutest, like this little seashell. It kind of has like a little shift of a highlight in here, and I love like the little pressed design, and the seashell is just too cute. I'm actually going to save this for my friend Ashley. When we were doing the Little Mermaid collection together, we did a video with them, and she thought the highlight was really pretty, and she really liked these, so I thought it would like look really nice sitting on her makeup vanity. So I'm putting this in my declutter pile, and I will be gifting that to a new home. I also have a highlight here. This is from Kaleidos Beauty, one of their Skywalker highlights. Again, this one kind of has like a similar vibe to the Sigma, where it has a little bit of that like shift to it. If you can see, and this one is kind of like it's like purple, but like kind of like blue at the same time. Again, I just don't really wear highlighters like basically ever, so I'm not really gonna keep a lot in my collection. So I will be decluttering that one as well. All right, then we have Rare Beauty, and I was like, okay, did I declutter the Rare Beauty last year or not? I feel like I couldn't remember, but again, I wasn't wearing highlight a lot, but this Rare Beauty highlight is actually so stunning. This is in the shade Exhilarate. Oh, it's so soft, and it's such like if you just want like a beaming highlight, but one that still looks natural on the skin, like it doesn't look like you put a stripe of highlight on your face, this is the highlight to go. Like it's really just so stunning. As I'm saying that, I feel like I can hear myself saying that last year and then following it up with, I just don't wear highlight very often. So I have part of me thinks that I decluttered this. I feel like this could be like a game show. Like, who's going to be the one that's going to go back and watch my long declutters from last year and then come back to this video and tell me what I decluttered and what I didn't and how right I am. But I do feel like I decluttered this last year. And I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with my decision to declutter it, but I'm gonna like see if one of my girlfriends wants it, so it like stays in my close circle, but it's not mine. You know what I mean? You see what I'm doing there? Yeah. See what I'm doing there? We have this one from Charlotte Tilbury, one of the Hollywood highlights. Again, this is pretty. I think I got this at around the same time as the Rare Beauty, and I preferred the Rare Beauty. So I have a feeling I decluttered this one, so we're gonna keep with that, and we are going to declutter that one. So recently I got this one here from Pixi Beauty. This is one of their On The Glow Super Glow Highlight Moisture Stick. So I also have some of their blushes like this as well. This one is in the shade Petal Dew. So you see a nice cream highlight here. This is the one that I used recently in a video where I was doing the candy cane blush. So I did the red cream blush from Pixi, and then I used this as the highlight, and that's how you kind of did like this candy cane trend or like the peppermint blush trend. It is a pretty highlight. Again, as someone who just doesn't wear a lot of highlight, I don't think that I need to keep it in my collection, but I was glad that I had it for the look. It's going to be something that's nice to pass on to someone. I can very easily, you know, sanitize the top of it and pass it on to someone else if they want it. So I'm going to declutter that one. And lastly, I just have my collab highlights. So these are with Ofra Cosmetics. This one is the first highlight that I did in Start Inspired. You can see my little pan on here. So obviously I like to keep around my own collection, and this one is in Dream Chaser. So again, Ofra is like so well known for their highlights. If you love that good beaming highlight, I mean, Dream Chaser is just so stunning. And then Start Inspired, this was the first collab that I did with them. So I took two of their very popular highlights and I put it into one. So you can do them separately. You can mix them together if you want, but Ofra still has such a beautiful formula for highlights. So to me, I keep these around. I also have my Life's Draft palette that I did with Ofra, and that has the highlight in it as well. So to me, I feel like I'm pretty good when it comes to highlights because, again, I just don't reach for them a lot, but obviously I'm going to be keeping my own collection. You can still get these on the Ofra website. My discount code with them is Samantha. So for my highlights, I'm keeping my 2 collab highlights and Decluttering 7. This just makes a lot of sense to me as someone who very rarely wears highlight. Gosh, I hope you were not playing a drinking game to that. Okay, next up we have duos. I think this is the only like non-duo in the group. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. Again, I have the feeling that I decluttered this last year. This is the Nudegasm Face Palette. I feel like what I was saying was I think these shades are really pretty. If it was just these 2 in here, I would keep it. Like if this was a duo, I would keep it. Beautiful contour shade, beautiful bronzer shade. But again, with the 2 highlights, and I just not wearing highlights very often. Again, if I could put these into a duo, I totally would. But I might see if Ashley wants this. She's a big fan of Charlotte Tilbury makeup. So she might be a good contender for that one, but I'm going to declutter it. I still continue to enjoy my Film Star Bronze Glow. I do wish that this, like, if this could be the contour from the quad and this could be the bronzer, I would love it. If this could be a blush, I really like Charlotte Tilbury powder blushes. I would be all over it. But I still, because I like this contour so much, I still cannot give up this palette. I don't use this very often for my face. Sometimes I'll use it on the eyes, inner corner, things like that. But I still continue to love the packaging. I honestly have had this for a very long time, and it's still one of those products I can't declutter. I would be so shocked if I decluttered this last year. I really don't think that I did, but I am going to be keeping that one. Now, next up, I feel like this one from Jouer, I feel like I want to say I decluttered it. Again, how are we doing? Who's keeping score? I want to say that I decluttered this one. I like it. I was such a fan of these Jouer. Like I have another blush duo that will be coming up. This one is a bronzer and blush. This one is the Cool blush bronzer duo. So we have Peony and Perfect Tan. Again, I will say more and more, I am more attracted to bronzer blush duos. Oh my gosh, wait a second, you guys. I think I'm going to keep this. I'm pretty sure I decluttered this last year, but right now and with where my makeup preferences are, I'm like, I think I'm going to keep this. I think I'm going to, especially because I like this bright pink blush right now. I haven't always been a big fan of bright pink blushes, but I will say recently, bright pink blushes and also red blush. I'm all about red blush at this particular moment in time, but I think I could get a lot of use out of this one. And I'm going to show you my Hoola Beach Vacay. Like, look at this big pan and this bronzer. Since I have been traveling so much this year, I have been really gravitating towards reaching for duos like this, specifically with a blush bronzer. Again, I don't wear highlight a ton. It's not a make or break for me to have a contour shade with me, but I'm like, once I start to pan up the rest of this bronzer or use up the rest of this bronzer, okay, wait, hold on. Okay, because this is a bronzer blush duo as well. Wait, hold on. I think, okay, hold on. I think I only need to keep one of these, right? Because they're not the same. They're not the same. The blushes are different. This is Nars Summer Unrated Blush Bronzer Duo with the Laguna bronzer, and then the blush is Orgasm. Why did I even look? Really like this duo. I actually was wearing it the other day. I think I used this in my members only Chatty Get Ready With Me. I don't think are either still available. The Nars Summer Unrated is not. This was limited edition. The Jouer, is Jouer even still a brand? Is Jouer even still releasing products? My phone is charging in the other room. I don't actually know that answer, but I feel like I need to keep one. I'm going to keep the Nars. I like the Nars formula a little bit more. Okay. Wow, I really was almost going to keep the Jouer for a second. Woo, whiplash. Woo, that was a roller coaster ride. But I'm going to declutter the Jouer. I'm going to keep the Nars. And then I'm going to keep the Benefit Hoola Vacay because I am making such progress on this. But you know what's funny? I decluttered this last year. I put this in, I think it was my like actual declutter series. I did declutter this. And then I snuck back into my declutter box and I took it out. I mentioned this in a video of like, is there makeup I regret decluttering? And I mentioned the Hoola Beach Vacay. I was like, I took that out of the box and was like, actually, you know what? Because again, sometimes your makeup preferences change. And this is why I also, because again, could I have taken the time or asked someone on my team to go through my declutters and be like, these are the ones that you declutter? Yes, 100% I could have done that. But I also thought it would be kind of interesting to do this a year later to see has something changed? And for me, especially because I traveled so much this year and because I'm planning to travel just as much next year, this has been very travel friendly for me. This will be very travel friendly for me. So that is what I'm thinking of. So I just wanted to kind of keep everything in to show that. Now, I'm not saying never get rid of your makeup like me. And again, this is why I'm enjoying having separate spaces for work and life. I think it will really help me, but I thought it would be interesting for the video to do it this way. And then the last one that we have is from Iconic London. Again, I think I decluttered this as well just because of the highlight in it. If this was a bronzer and like a good shimmer bronzer, I would be all for it. The blush is so beautiful. Like, I kind of wish I could just like take out the blush, but like, that's not necessary. You saw the blush pile, it's huge. So I am going to declutter the Iconic London. So we decluttered 3 and then we kept 3. Wow, that was a doozy of a segment. One quick thing before we move over to bronzers. This was kind of like pushed into the bronzer section. So this is from Sigma. I'm trying to remember. I feel like last year I had a hard time with this one too. This is from one of their holiday collections. It's the Glisten and Glow Cheek Duo, so it's not available anymore. This one is so pretty. Like, the blush formula is so pretty. You know what? I think I said because I have individual Sigma blushes, I bet I probably decluttered this. Again, if this was bronzer blush duo, I would 100% be keeping it. But because it's that highlight, I bet I decluttered this one too. So I'm going to keep with that and declutter that one. But then we're going to move over to bronzers. And my bronzer collection is pretty small. And I'm a little bit surprised at this because I have always been such a fan of bronzer. If you followed me for any length of time, like, bronzer is that one thing that I've always loved. But I feel kind of proud of myself that I'm looking over this collection and man, I think the last one that I bought was maybe this Pat McGrath Labs. You know, some of these I did receive in PR, some I have purchased. But I think one of the last ones that I bought was the Pat McGrath Labs. And I think I had noticed over time, like, I had so much bronzer. And I was like, why do you have this many bronzers? Like, you can't even use that much bronzer. And I really kind of made it my mission, I want to say in like maybe 2022, that I was like, stop buying bronzers and try to actually go through some. And I did. I went through the Becca Capri Coast. You're going to see some with pan in here. You know, some have broken, like my L'Oreal Infallible. I dropped it and I broke it, but like, I'm still using it. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like I look at my bronzer collection and I'm surprised, but I'm proud of myself. Like, you know what I mean? So this is good. Like, I'm really glad that I can kind of pull everything out and see this and be like, wow, like, you actually kind of, you know, stuck on your goals. Like, good on you, girl. Let's start with some, because that's, you know, kind of what you have to do. And you gotta start somewhere. I want to say the Tower 28. I feel like I probably decluttered this one. This is their Sculptino bronzer. This one is in the shade Broad. It's a cream bronzer. It's a nice bronzer. Also, it looks just gross right now. I used it a lot, but I'm fairly confident I decluttered this, and I think it's going to be a good thing to stick with that decision. Good bronzer, easy to blend out, all the things. I want to say at this time last year, I was not as big into cream products. I'm still not as big into cream products. I still prefer powder, but I would say I'm kind of coming back around to the cream side of things. So I want to point that out. I also have this little guy. This is from Milk Makeup, and this is one of their, like, when they came back out with their bronzers and blushes, came out in this like really small version, and I remember getting the PR and I was like, oh wow, they sent us like minis of everything. No, this is just the actual size of them now, which is like fine because their other ones were so huge, but like I think the price was like the same, and I was like, wait, what? Because I genuinely thought these were minis. Again, this is a nice product if you're looking for a good cream bronzer. This is a good one, but again, as I say in so many of my videos, so many of my declutters, I don't want to keep every single good makeup product, because especially these days compared to like 2016, there's a lot of good makeup out there. If I were to keep it all, I would be swimming in makeup. I'd be like that little, what is it, Nemo? Just keep swimming. Like, I would be swimming through the makeup. So it's a good one, but I don't need to keep it. Also have these bronze liquid drops from First Aid Beauty. These are the Bronze and Glow Drops Niacinamide. These are really pretty. I think that I got them this year, I want to say. This is a really pretty product. So I decided to include this in the bronzer, even though it's kind of something that I wear like more as just like on its own for my skin. I wasn't quite sure where to put. I maybe could have put it with like foundations. I don't know. My nurse says out there, are you enjoying these veins? I always get comments on my veins. from nurses in my videos. But this is just such a pretty product. I mean, you can use it as a bronzer. You can use it mixed in with like a tinted moisturizer, a regular moisturizer, because you could make it a tinted moisturizer. You could use it just on its own. I think these are really pretty though. Like, I'm not huge into liquid, but I just find them so easy to wear, especially if I just want a little bit of like, you know, bronze and glow to the face. That's like the perfect product to do it. So I am going to keep that. Again, I do think I decluttered the Dior bronzer last year. I was kind of having like some hard pan issues with it. It just wasn't my absolute favorite bronzer. This one is the Dior Forever. In warm bronze is the shade. I think I decluttered this one. I'm still good to declutter that. Okay, this one is a little bit of a newer one to me. This is from Bare Minerals, and again, this is one of their liquid bronzers, the Complexion Rescue Bronzer. So it's like a blush bronzer. This is Kiss of Spice, which to me, I put it in the bronzer section because I feel like it's more bronzer than it is blush. Like I have a couple other ones that I feel like are more blush than bronzer. To me, I'm going to keep the First Aid Beauty over the Bare Minerals. I have a few people in my life that really like a lot from Bare Minerals, so I can pass over to them. But for me, I find it's not the exact same as the First Aid Beauty, but kind of if I want that liquid bronzer, I can go with the First Aid Beauty, so I'm going to keep that one. This is one that I'm fairly sure I had in like a collection rejection video, and I believe I rejected it. So this is from, this is Beach Bronze from Lottie London in the Outer Banks collection. This to me, I just didn't really love the shade on it. Like it's almost just like more copper than I prefer for a bronzer. And again, it's a cream product and just not my favorite. So again, I believe I had that in a collection rejection video, and then it was back in my collection. So I am going to stick with decluttering that one. One that I know that I liked, I would have been really surprised if I decluttered the Rare Beauty last year. I feel like I probably kept this one, but this is one of the cream bronzers. This one is in Power Trip, I believe. Power Boost. And I still really like this bronzer. Highly recommended as a cream bronzer. Very easy to blend out, very natural looking. It's been a favorite of mine for a long time. So again, I would be shocked if I decluttered it last year, and I am going to keep it around this year. I had mentioned the Pat McGrath. I bought this. I think this is the last bronzer that I bought. I have in my mind that I kept this, and I feel like I'm remembering from my bronzer declutter last year that I decluttered a lot. Because I was really trying to cut down my collection, have a more minimal collection. So, you know, joke's on me with everything that has happened. But I think that I kept this one, and I am going to declutter it. I don't have a ton of bronzers in my collection, and some of my favorites are like broken or panned or whatnot, but it was always just an okay bronzer. It wasn't one that I absolutely loved, and I feel like there's just others in my collection that I love even more. So I'm gonna declutter this one, and I feel pretty good about that. Like one bronzer I've been wearing so much recently, this is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush bronzer, and I wear the shade 2. You can see like I can have like a little bit of hard pan in this one as well, but to me this is such a pretty bronzer. When I panned and then my Sigma started breaking and the L'Oreal broke, I was like, this is the bronzer that I started going to. Obviously I do the Benefit a lot, especially when traveling. But this was really the bronzer that I was going for. I think this is such a pretty one from Charlotte Tilbury. It is more expensive, but I just think it's such a natural looking bronzer. Every time I wear it, I just look at my skin, I'm like, huh, you look pretty today. Like that's how I feel when I wear the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. So definitely keeping this one. And then last year, I believe I kept the cream bronzer as well. This is the Beautiful Skin Sun Kissed Glow bronzer. Honestly though, I'm going to declutter this one this year. This is a cream product, and I don't think cream holds up as long as powders can. And I just feel like it's looking a little bit on the sus side. And for me, I just reach for the powder one so much more. I still like cream bronzer, don't get me wrong, like that Rare Beauty one is still really nice, but I think I'm okay to declutter this particular one. And honestly, I don't want to pass it on to anyone. I think it's probably time. Another cream one, this is from Nars. This is their original Laguna bronzer. I feel like I decluttered this last year, even though I've said that I really like it. I think that it's a really pretty bronzer. I think we're kind of on the cusp of, could I give it to someone or should it be tossed? Again, with it being a cream product, I am going to declutter it. I do think that this is a really nice one though. It's one that I've recommended several times. I had a couple different shades of this one and I passed it on to my friends. I was like, I think you would really like this bronzer. But for me, I'm going to keep it out of my collection for now. And then another cream one from Makeup by Mario. This is their Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. And this is in medium. I believe I decluttered this one last year as well. It's a fine product. It just wasn't something that completely knocked my socks off. Again, I think it's probably still good enough that I could, you know, sanitize and pass on to someone else if they wanted it, but it wasn't something that necessarily blew me away. So I'm going to declutter it. And then another one from Makeup by Mario. This is the Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick. Every time, and light medium every time. Hate relationship with this one. I ended up really ending up liking it, but again, I'm gonna keep the Rare Beauty over this one, and I think that I'll get more use out of that. So I think maybe I decluttered that one last year. And then lastly, for a duo here from Patrick Ta. This is the, well, what is the proper name? She's Sculpted, the Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. Again, I'm going to declutter this one. I feel like the cream is looking a little bit on the suspicious side. Even the powder bronzer, I don't feel like it's looking great. So this is what, like, it's kind of, I use this a lot. This was a really nice duo. Really nice duo. I just do think that we're kind of like getting past its prime. And I feel like with my collection, I'm good. Also, I'm kind of clearing out my bronzer collection because I think I'm gonna purchase one. Like, I think I'm ready. I think it's time. Like, I don't know why I was so set on like my bronzers out of everything being like, go through some before you keep buying more, but like I did it. Like, I accomplished my goal. So like, what bronzer should I buy next? Because we're gonna get real down there when it comes to bronzer, okay? Because next up I have my one from Sigma Beauty. I panned this and then it started to kind of break off a little bit, but super proud because I actually panned it. I didn't drop it like the L'Oreal. So I was super proud of this one, but this is beautiful. This honestly reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury, but it's not going to be as expensive as the Charlotte. And I have a discount code with Sigma, which is Samantha. They might still, I think this video is going up on Sunday, so they might even still be having some Cyber Monday deals, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. You can stack my code Samantha to use a lot of them. My collab with Sigma is on sale right now for an extra 10% off. So make sure to check out their sales, but I recommend the matte bronzer all the time. I use the shade Medium as the bronzer that I have, and I'm going to keep going until I can't use this anymore. And then I will definitely have, like, I think I already have a backup in my collection. So I love this bronzer. I think it's great. So smooth. One of my favorites. And then obviously I really like the L'Oreal. This one I did drop. Like, I was getting ready to pan it. I was literally saying in a video, I know I'm gonna pan this one soon, and then I freaking dropped it. And so I still like try to use it. I kind of set it on a paper towel and like kind of dust it over it. I could repress it, sure. Honestly, I should just buy it. Honestly, I should look right now and see if it's on sale for Black Friday, like on Amazon or something, and then just buy another one. This is great. I highly recommend it. A little bit more of affordable bronzer. Honestly, that's what I should just do. I want to repurchase that one and then buy one new bronzer for myself. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? And then we have this one here from YSL. Love the packaging on this one. This is their All Hours Hype Bronzer. This is a nice bronzer. It's not the absolute best shade for me, I will say that, but it's not a terrible shade match, and I still like it. It's not my absolute favorite formula, but it's still a formula that I like, and I think something about it being YSL and like the packaging is so bougie and cute. I kept it last year. I'm going to keep it again this year. Again, out of all of them, like if I were to rank my single bronzers right now, oh my gosh, Samantha, really? This is what you're doing? This is what you're going to do to yourself? Okay, so I'm keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would say, so 6 would be the YSL. Then I would say the drops because I just don't wear like liquid as much. Then I would say the Rare Beauty just because I don't use cream as much. Then I would say the Charlotte. And then these are definitely my top two. The L'Oreal's a little bit, I think the Sigma formula is just a little bit better than the L'Oreal, but the L'Oreal is more affordable. These would be my top two. I would say 1, then 2, and then that is how I would rank my bronzers. But you can see I'm only keeping 6 bronzers, so I feel like this is permission to buy a new one. 6 bronzers, that's pretty good. And then only, what, did I keep 3? I kept 3 face palettes. Wait a second. Where's my River bronzer? No, where's my River bronzer? I don't see it in my blushes. I do have my my collaboration with Ofra. I have the bronzer. Oh my gosh, where is it? Because my bronzer drawer was totally empty. I know that just means it got misplaced somewhere, or maybe, you know, a friend grabbed it or something. But we're gonna have to find that because I love my River bronzer. No, where are you? Okay, so I'm keeping 6, technically 7, once I find my Ofra. Oh, because I was saying, so 7, 8, 9. I only have 9 bronzers total in my collection, including those palettes. And then this is my declutter pile, and I am decluttering 11. Whew, that was pretty good. Wait, now we have to do blushes. I don't know how every year my blush collection is so out of hand, because I always say I'm not that big of a blush girl, and yet somehow my blush collection is always like 3 times the size of my bronzers. I'm like, what is going on? Now I will say blush had a big year. Big 2024 for blushes, okay? We had a point in time where it was like every single brand was releasing a blush, okay? So bear with me, but we are gonna try to get through these blushes as well as we can. Okay, great. Let's start with some faves. Let's start with some that I know that I'm keeping. I love the Lawless blushes. I've talked about the Lawless blushes for years. I swear I'm the only person that talks about these. I know that's a lie. I know it's a lie. I love the Lawless blushes. This is just a beautiful, like, natural nude pink blush. This one is in the shade Vintage Love. Love this one. We're gonna keep that. I have a deep obsession with the Natasha Denona My Mini Dream Glow Blush. This is so beautiful. I love how tiny it is, first of all. Like, I love the packaging. I love how tiny it is. You do have like this little stripe of highlight over here and then 2 blushes. I love that they left the highlight to the side and didn't put it in the middle like a lot do, because a lot of times, honestly, I'm just reaching in here. But sometimes I like a little bit of shimmer, and I'll just boop my brush into the highlight, and then you have a little bit of shimmer. This is one of my favorite blushes. I love this. I think it's beautiful. I love the formula. I love traveling with this. You got the little mirror on it. This one is so beautiful. Purchased this myself. Love it. My discount code with Natasha is Samantha. So those are 2 I saw right away. All right. Okay, I do think I decluttered the Drunk Elephant Oblus Rosy Drops. This is a liquid blush from Drunk Elephant. I feel like I decluttered these last year. I mean, it's pretty, but I don't use the liquid blushes a lot. It's not necessarily a shade that I was like, oh wow, like this is my number 1 go-to shade. And I think that I have a lot of people that would like a blush like this. So I am going to put that one into my declutter pile. I'm also fairly confident I decluttered this one from M Cosmetics, and when I found it back in my collection and I opened it too, it's a cream blush, I was like, I think you have seen better days as well. This was a beautiful blush though. Does M Cosmetics still release products? I feel like I don't really hear a lot about the brand anymore, but this is one that I feel like just needs to be tossed. Also going into 2025 is like our cleanly. We're gonna not keep expired makeup. We're not gonna be a hoarder and just keep things just to keep. Yep. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me. Okay. I'm talking to me, but I'm going to declutter that one. All right, what else we got in here? I see some more liquid blushes. Okay, what all do we have going on here? I think I decluttered quite a few Charlotte Tilbury from last year. So again, these are not all Charlotte. We have some Flower Beauty up in here as well, but I feel like the ones from Charlotte, in my mind, I feel like I kept one, and I think that I kept this one. Who's keeping score for me? This one isn't Pillow Talk, of course it is. I'm pretty sure that was the one that I kept, and these ones have the little floof balls on them. I think that I decluttered the other 2 because, again, I like these products, think that they're good. I just don't need to keep every single one. So we have Peach Pop and then also Pink Pop. And how do I feel? I still feel fine to declutter these 2, but I'm like, do I really need to keep this one? I haven't. Again, it's kind of interesting to look back of like, did I use this at all throughout 2024? Do I really still feel like I need to keep it? I'm gonna still continue to keep one. Sometimes it can come into play because we have brands that come out with products that are similar to them. Let's see, I feel like maybe this shade might, I don't know, Wildberry. I don't feel like there's any that are gonna be super close in shade. And we have Charlotte at top, which is Pillow Talk, which is just like that nude mauve. Wildberry, yeah, has more of that berry vibe to it. Maybe, I think Toasty is gonna be too brown. These are very, very similar. Yeah, that one's just like nude brown. And this last one is Cheeky. So yeah, I don't think any of them are really super close, like shade wise. But again, if you're looking for like something similar. But for the ones for Flower Beauty, Toasty was the one that I was wearing the most. So I would say, again, not wearing liquid products a lot, I could declutter those 4. I got them in PR, so that's why there's so many shades. The Toasty shade, I'm like, do I absolutely have to keep? It's a pretty shade. Ooh, it is a pretty shade. No, Samantha, this is why you end up with so many blushes, because blushes are pretty. I think blushes are like they're kind of one of those that it's like, it's just like prettier over bronzer. Like bronzer is bronzer, right? Blush, you have different, I mean, bronzer has different finishes too, but like at the end of the day, the shades are pretty similar, and blushes is just, you know, they're kind of different. But I'm going to declutter that one because I don't need that many. I don't need that many. I do have another one from Charlotte. This one is in Pinkgasm. So the other one is the matte blush, and these are the like original. I think I kept also like, this is looking pretty. Yeah, I think this one just needs to be probably thrown out. Pretty shade though, super pretty shade. And I always say in my videos that Charlotte Tilbury, her blush and contour wands were some of the first liquid products that I felt were very easy to use. It was a reason why I was drawn to the Charlotte Tilbury brand back in 2016, 2017, when I was very, very new with makeup, was because I felt like her formula was so easy to use even as a beginner. So that is something that I want to say. But the matte blush is newer to me and not as suspicious looking. So there's that. But then we have some other liquid blushes here. So we have one from Rare Beauty and then one from ColourPop. So from Rare Beauty, this one is in Encourage. It really is such a beautiful nude. I feel like I might have decluttered that one last year, honestly. This one from ColourPop is in Super Shy. That one almost has like, I want to say peachy pink, but it's almost like a poppy pink. I want to say maybe I decluttered the Rare Beauty, but I actually want to keep it. I'm going to declutter the ColourPop. I like the ColourPop. I think that it's pretty. I think that it's cute packaging. But again, I don't have to keep every pretty blush. But I am going to keep the Rare Beauty. Did I keep that blush? I feel like I might have decluttered it because I wasn't doing the liquid products a lot. But I will also say that Rare Beauty, like I have an audience that loves Rare Beauty. So I try to incorporate Rare Beauty. Again, I think that they're good products on their own. Don't get me wrong. They have some of my favorites. I talk about their mascaras all the time. Like their lip products are so great. I love their eyeshadow sticks, etc. But I also know that my audience seems to really like Rare Beauty products, so I do want to be able to keep some around. So I am going to keep that one. And then I see some other liquid ones. These are from Bare Minerals. So again, these are the blush bronzers. So we have Kiss of Mauve and Kiss of Copper. These are pretty. With keeping the Charlotte and the Rare Beauty, I like those formulas a little bit more over the Bare Minerals. So I am going to declutter those. Okay, I'm happy to see my collaboration with Ofra is in here. So this is the Chiclet Duo. So this is the blush duo that I created with them. You have a matte blush and then a shimmer blush. So again, you can use separately. You can use them together. Again, like I said, I do like to keep my collaborations, obviously, and I'm just glad to see Chiclet here since we're missing River. So we've had some brands release blushes, and okay, I thought I didn't have all 4 Singe. Okay, so we have 4 Singe. So Revie Beauty launched their Bake blushes this year. So this is Ali Glein's makeup brand, and I just recently reviewed the blushes, and I especially shouted out the shade Oasis, which I just think is so pretty, and it's a very kind of like berry blush shade, but it's also, because they're a baked blush, they're just super easy to blend out and they look so pretty on the skin. I think this formula is super beautiful. Paradise is a pretty nude. You can see that these really do blend out so well. And then we also have Daydream. So then we have a Daydream here as well. Now again, sometimes it's hard with brands like these because like I really love Ali Glein's. I've been a big fan of hers for a long time, and now she's like someone who I get to consider a friend, which is so exciting. But do I need to keep every single blush, especially with trying to have a more minimalist collection? Then my mind goes to, should I keep some for comparison? Should I keep them for like swatch videos down the line? But again, at the end of the day, I don't need to keep 3 blushes. They're all so beautiful. And they're a great formula, but I'm going to keep the ones that are my favorites. And from Revie Beauty, it is going to be the shade Oasis. This to me is just so pretty. And again, if I'm trying to stick with my, you don't need to keep all the pretty products, we're going to stick with keeping Oasis. On that token, we also have Singe Beauty, and this brand released blushes this year as well. So we have Persistent Persimmon, which is more on this orangish side, the blush side. And we have Timid Tomato. This is my personal favorite. I also mentioned earlier, like really loving red blushes. And then we also have Risky Raisin is the darkest out of the 4 that were launched. I know the brand owner, who is one of my friends, Aniel Kanikva, she has said that she is going to be expanding the range as well. Then I'm like, what finger have I not swatched on? Then we have Riveting Rhubarb, which is this really beautiful pink shade. So those are the 4 blushes from Sin. Like I said, Timid Tomato is for sure my favorite out of these. I really like the packaging on these. I like that they're like very sleek and easy to like fit into places. So Timid Tomato, my favorite. I love wearing red blushes. I think that it is such a pretty formula. I like Persistent Persimmon because to me, it is a different blush. Like I don't really have any other blush like this in my collection. It's not something that I wear the most of, but it's still a shade that I like have fun reaching into. So I want to keep this one as well. Okay, then we have the other 2, Risky Raisin and Riveting Rhubarb. And I would say that these shades aren't like my most used shades, but it kind of comes down to, I have been friends with Angie for such a long time, like almost 10 years or something like that. I have gotten to know her from like her early YouTube days to her idea to start a brand, to actually launching the brand, to expanding the brand. So even though I would say these 2 aren't shades that I wear the most of, I still do want to keep them, even though I might not consider them like a part of like my makeup collection per se. I have this little area where I keep like my friends' collabs and like cool things that they do. And I think that I'm going to add these 2 over into that section because it just wouldn't feel right like not having them, if that makes sense. I know that they were running a Black Friday sale. Again, I'm hoping that this video goes up on Sunday. It'll probably depend on how long it takes me to get it edited, but check the website because I know that they are running some sales as well. Okay, I want to say I have these here from Essence. They're Pure Nude Baked Blushes. I think that they had released like shortly before I did my declutters last year. I think I kept this one. Rosy Rosewood is the shade that I'm thinking that I kept. These are baked blushes as well. And then this one is Shimmering Rose. And then we also have Cool Coral. This year with the amount of blushes that I have, I'm just going to go ahead and declutter the 3 of these. I just don't feel like it's absolutely necessary to keep all of them. And again, I think I had gotten them right before the declutter, so I was like, let me just keep one. But I don't think I've reached them a lot. They're a good formula. Like there's nothing wrong with the blushes. It's just, I obviously have a lot of blushes and a lot that I very much enjoy. Whew. I think I decluttered this from Glamlite. This was part of the Chucky collection. So this is a blush duo. It was supposed to be 2 different blush shades, but something had happened with their like licensing. And so it ended up being the same shade. Again, I'm fairly confident I decluttered this and I'm going to stick with that. I have a couple here from Oden's Eye, and these are really pretty blushes. So this one here is in Pink Bloom. Honestly, this to me is like a darker mauve than it is like a pink. Then this one is Lilac Mist, which I do feel like is more pink. I like the Oden's Eye blushes. I do think that they're very pretty. I don't reach for them a ton though. I like the Oden's Eye eyeshadow formula the most from the brand. The blushes, if I was going to keep one, it would be this one. But I really don't think that I need to keep them with the amount of blushes that I have and the amount that I'm trying to cut down in this video. Pretty blushes. I like the Oden's Eye. My code with them is Samantha. I just don't think that I need to keep all of them. I have been wearing this blush so much. I've done videos with this blush. This is beautiful. Like I said, I am on the red blush train right now. I can't get off. So again, from Pixi, the On The Glow Blush Tinted Moisture Stick. This one is in the shade Ruby. This is just beautiful. And it's a formula where I feel like you can sheer it out very easily. Like it looks intimidating, right? To me anyway, a red blush is intimidating. You do not have to be intimidated by this blush. It blends out so beautifully, especially if you use like a sponge or something, it's going to blend out so well. I know I've seen a lot of people doing the red blush with like the Rare Beauty, but Pixi is going to be a lot more affordable. I know you can get these on Amazon as well. I have a big list on Amazon of Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. If I see the Pixi go on sale, I will definitely add it, but I know you can get it over there, and that blush is just my favorite right now. I can't stop wearing it. So obviously I am going to be keeping that one. So another one of their On The Glow blushes. This one is in Fleur. So this is a pretty pink. It has some shimmer to it, but I have a lot of other blushes like this. To me, like, I don't necessarily think the Pixi formula is a standout. It's that color red that I'm loving so much. So I'm going to declutter this one. Again, it's not that it's a bad formula. It's still a good formula, but it's really that shade that I am just like loving on. Another blush stick. This one is from LYS. This is in the shade Focused. I think that I kept this one last year. And again, this is a really nice blush formula. But especially because oh, that is a really nice blush. I just know that I haven't really grabbed for it a ton, which makes me think that I don't need to keep it. And I'm already, you know, keeping a lot of blushes. Ooh, but that is a nice shade. Did I keep the Rare Beauty? I did. I kept the Rare Beauty. Okay. I'm going to put this in my pass file. I don't think Ashley's going to want it because I was like, could I cheat the system again? It's so pretty. I'm just really trying to not keep 18,000 blushes. But that is a nice blush. That one is a nice blush. Let's go to another one that I know is a favorite. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Cheek to Chic in Pillow Talk. This has been a favorite blush of mine for so long. Again, it's kind of one of those staples, kind of like the bronzer, where it's like, oh shoot, I'm running low on bronzer. Which one should I grab? The Charlotte Tilbury. The blush is like, oh wait, I just need a blush really quick. What do I know is going to work well and look good on me? The Charlotte Tilbury. Keeping that one, I've had it for a long time. I do think that it's beautiful. I have one from ColourPop. This is Mrs. Potts. This is a really pretty shade. I don't need to keep it because it's not like an absolute standout to me, but it's a cute blush. It's a cute, and like, look at the cute little packaging. I'm sure someone would have a good home for that one. Okay, and then these are new to me, the Westman Atelier Blush Trio. You can also use these as lip products. I picked these up in the last Sephora sale. I've had these featured in quite a few videos. I'm going to be keeping these. These are new. I'm still loving them. And again, these are cream products. So again, I'm kind of thinking about the LYS, but I'm like, you just bought 3 new cream blushes, and these are really pretty. This is the first time I was trying Westman Atelier, and I've been very impressed with these. We have Mimi, Pop It, and Petal are the shades, like a nude, a pretty bright pink, and then more of like a nude pink. But yeah, I've been very impressed. Again, first time trying Westman Atelier. I've been really liking the blush trio that I got. I know I like something when I like still have it in its original packaging. Like I'm like, oh, look how fancy I am. All right, this one from Benefit. This is in Pom Pom. I'm gonna make myself laugh, but I think that this has been dethroned by Timid Tomato. Not that they're the exact same shade by any means. Like you can even see in the pan, like they're not the exact same, but I feel like the vibes are similar. Again, you can see they're not like the exact same at all, but they kind of like give me the similar vibes. But I like that the Timid Tomato is more red. So again, still keeping Timid Tomato, but I'm actually going to declutter Pom Pom, which I'm surprised because that was a favorite blush of mine last year. But as I'm looking at my blushes and like what I actually wore this year, I was not really reaching for Pom Pom. So I have some here from Sigma Beauty. Let's go through these. So I have 2 powder and a cream. I really do like the cream blushes from Sigma. This was in Corda Rosa. Again, something about my cream products, I'm just like not vibing with a lot of them unless I know that they're new. I'm not sure what's going on with me right now because I've never really been super bothered, but I think that this one is good to say goodbye to. Beautiful, beautiful blush. Looking for a good cream blush, this is a beautiful option. I'm just like kind of feeling iffy on my cream products right now. And then we have 2 powder blushes. So we have Berry Love and Nearly Wild. Yes, Nearly Wild is this one. So like I mentioned with that Sigma Duo, I really do like their powder blushes. I feel like I only need to keep one, and I also feel like I did this last year. I'm having deja vu. I feel like I kept this one. Or did I keep them both? How many powder blushes? See, and right now, it's so funny to be doing this right now because I'm not usually attracted to deeper blushes. I feel like any other time I would have been like, oh, I'll just keep Berry Love, but I'm like, ooh, okay. It's not super similar, no. But I also, like, this is a great formula. If I'm just being honest with myself, like I haven't reached for them a ton. So that's why I think that I only want to keep one. You know what? I'm gonna surprise myself. I'm gonna go with Nearly Wild. I'm gonna keep this one. And I'm gonna declutter Berry Love. I bet Ashley would like this one. Boom. Okay, there we go. I have another one from Benefit. This is so funny. This is Butterfly. So this is more of an orangey blush. But again, with Persistent Persimmon, again, they're not the same. This top one here is the Benefit, which is definitely more orange. And then this is the Singe Beauty, which almost has more of like a yellow like undertone to it. So they're not the same. But to me, I actually think the Singe is more wearable. And the Benefit, I kept it because it was like different and it was fun. But I do think that the Singe is going to be more of a wearable shade. So I am going to declutter the Benefit. I have a beautiful one here from Kaleidos. I love the packaging on these ones. And oh wait, I forgot that they don't have shade names on these. It totally drives me crazy when they don't have the shade names, but you guys, it's so, I feel like I knew what I was doing when I was keeping this one. That I was like, you know, it's just not a shade I wear very often, but it's different. I don't have a lot like this in my collection. I don't think that this one is going to be super similar to Timid Tomato. No, not really. We have the Kaleidos, which is definitely more matte. And then again, the Singe, where you can see like it has more of that like glow to it. But I'm going to have to do a look with the Kaleidos. Yep, I'm keeping that one. I am so into red blush right now, and that one is so pretty. Whew, I don't think I decluttered it last year. I really think that I kept it because I was like, oh, it's just different. And now I'm just like, how many red blushes can I keep? That's good. We got a couple from Dior. I'm a big fan of Dior blushes. Why do I feel like I have a third one? No, I've only just ever had two, right? This was the first one that I bought, the pink one. Beautiful. Such a long wearing blush. Like you want a long wearing blush. Honestly, the Singe is really long wearing. And then the Dior, I think, is my most long wearing blush. And then, so that one isn't just in pink. Yeah, pink. And then this one is in rosewood. So a lot of you told me to get rosewood, which I did, which is funny now because it's more of a red shade. This is really interesting to me. This has so much hard pan that like I'm not even really, hold on. This one, I didn't swatch this one. This one looks fine. No, this one feels fine. Whoa, that's so weird. Can you see that? Like I just feel like the rosewood looks like way off. And I've had pink way longer than I've had rosewood. What? That's so weird. Look at that. That doesn't even, what is that? Ugh. This is so crazy to me because it was like 2 months ago, maybe 3. I was wearing this blush all of the time and I had no issues. That is so crazy to me. It's not like this hasn't been used in a year. I was wearing this one so much. That is so crazy to me. I've had this one for way longer. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to declutter this. This isn't even usable. I'm gonna keep the pink, but I'm gonna declutter the rosewood. This is really disappointing. These are very expensive blushes, and this makes me like genuinely wonder if I should buy another one. But it's so weird that the pink one didn't do it. What the heck is that about? Has anyone had that experience with the Dior blushes? I'm shooketh. All right, let's do a Jouer blush duo. Again, I'm pretty sure I decluttered this one and I'm pretty sure I'm okay with it. The Adore blush. So we have Adore Me and Hold Me. Beautiful blushes. Again, I almost kept that bronzer blush duo, but I think I am going to still keep that one in my declutter pile. This is a new one from Sigma Beauty, again with the Little Mermaid collection. Like, look at this freaking cute little blush here. This one is in True Love. I did keep the other Sigma blush. Again, I know Ashley really liked these from the collection, so I might just pass this on to my girlfriend as well. I try to keep like my friends in mind when I'm doing my declutters because it's like, oh, like I know some people with like certain blushes or even like foundations or palettes or whatever it may be that I'm like, oh, I think that they might like them. So I think that one will have a new home. So I'm going to put it in my declutter pile. All right, we're getting down there. This one from Physicians Formula is pretty new to me. And this is, I guess maybe I could have put it in like, I don't know, because it's like a blush, a bronzer, and then a highlight. Like this one is a little bit more of like a contour shade and then like highlights over here. This is really pretty. What is this? This is the Muro Muro Butter Bronzer and Blush Healthy Glow. Honestly, I'm going to keep it because it's kind of like a duo, but like all in one. And I feel like it gives me like a little bit of bronze, but it gives me some glow. It's not like totally blush, but this is like one of those products that I would look at and be like, you're not going to like that. But once I was using it, I was like, wait, that's actually very pretty. And just kind of based on my preferences right now, I think it makes sense to keep this one. Again, it's a little bit newer to me. So sometimes when products are newer, I'm still just like not quite ready to say goodbye to them. But yeah, that one's pretty. We have one here from ColourPop. This is in Adore You. This one is a cream blush. I hate the packaging. I can never open these. And for some reason, I'm getting rid of a lot of my cream products. You can see that it is a pretty one, but again, I can never open these. Honestly, it drives me absolutely batty. So I'm going to put that one into my pass pile. Another cream one, this is from Rare Beauty. This one is in the shade Nearly Neutral. Okay, I feel like I'm like very closely inspecting my cream products. It feels okay still. It still feels like creamy and soft. A part of me thinks I decluttered this last year. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it. I know a lot of you like Rare Beauty. I just posted a Rare Beauty like short form video doing a little haul with them with some of the products that they sent me. I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna keep that one. Yeah. Then another cream blush stick. This is, this one is in Plumberry, which I do think I decluttered last year, but when I was pulling them out, I'm like, okay, I'm really attracted to these dark blushes right now. But you know what? I don't have an urge to keep it, which I'm surprised. I thought that I would want to. I really thought that I'd want to, and I thought this would be a good example of like, oh, I decluttered it, but now I really like these darker blushes. But I think that I have like enough in my collection, and I don't know, something about the packaging just really drives me crazy. I don't know if it's just because I've been here for a long time and I've been doing a lot of swatches and I'm in Aries, so I have no patience, but like I suddenly have no patience for, and I'm like really, I'm actually like upset about the Dior blush. That was very expensive and I just bought that. So I'm like, what the heck? We're getting down to it. So we have from Nars, this is in Dolce Vita. Again, this is a really pretty darker blush for right now. I think I got this one this year, I want to say. That's pretty. You know what? I'm going to keep it because this kind of reminds me of the Rosewood-ish a little bit. Like similar vibes. Again, you know, like not the same, but similar vibes. I'm going to keep it. From NYX, this is the Buttermelt blush, and this is in Feeling Butta. Okay, I like this blush. Oh my goodness. The packaging, why? I like this blush. I bought it because it was definitely going viral in a lot of places, but to me, it's almost like too much. It's almost like too shimmery, too deep. Like when I put it on, like I truly just need to like pop, and then like that's it. Otherwise it's like, whoa. Like the first time I wore it, I remember I was in Chicago, and all of the photos from that Chicago trip, I feel like I can only see my blush. And like, yes, I was getting compliments on it, but it almost made me feel a little bit self-conscious, and it was like, there was like a little bit of a learn. Again, I can just use a really light hand, it would be fine, but I also have blushes that like I don't need to work hard with, and this packaging driving me crazy. Can't do it. So I will be decluttering that one as well. Okay, I actually had this in my blushes, but this is a lip oil, so we're going to put that to the side. That will be in our lip video. So the last one here we have from ColourPop, one of their powder blushes, and this is in Good Energy. Okay, I know that I have not reached for this at all this year. I like ColourPop blushes. I think they have good formulas, but it's a pretty nude, but not one that I feel like super pressed that I need to keep. So I'm going to declutter that. I think I did pretty good on blushes. Let me pull these out and we'll see how we did. Okay, so at the top is what we are keeping. It is 21, including like the 3 Westman Atelier. I included the 2 from Singe. And then at the bottom here is our declutter pile. And we are decluttering 35. I think that is a pretty good. I'm going to feel really good about this declutter series, I think. I'm going to feel better about my organization, getting my like living space in a better place. I hope you enjoyed seeing the first declutter. There are several more to go, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.